Hey everyone, let's talk about something that's happening in fast-growing towns all over the country. We're going to zoom in on Garner, North Carolina to really understand it. It's a story about affordable housing and how some of the most affordable homes are just quietly disappearing. It's a trend you've probably even noticed in your own neighborhood. You know the scene, right? There's an apartment complex you've driven by for years, and then all of a sudden it gets new siding, some fresh landscaping, maybe a fancy new sign out front calling it the Lofts or something. And yeah, it looks great, but that upgrade, it usually comes with a pretty big hidden cost for the community. And here's what that cost looks like in real dollars. A totally normal two-bedroom that was, affordable for a working family at maybe $1,000 a month. Suddenly, after the facelift, it's renting for $1,400 or more. The apartment isn't any bigger, but that new price tag has just pushed it way out of reach for the people who used to live there. So there's actually a name for these kinds of places. They're called naturally occurring affordable housing, or NOAH for short. Now, this isn't government-subsidized housing or anything. It's just affordable because, well, the buildings are a bit older. And because there's no official program protecting them, they are prime targets for investors looking to swoop in, slap on some new paint, and jack up the rent. They're basically the backbone of a town's affordable housing, and they are completely unprotected. Okay, so let's dig into Garner as our case study. The town actually took a hard look at this trend recently, and the numbers they found are pretty stark. Get this, Garner has about 3,000 of these NOAH units. That's 3,000 homes that are affordable without a single dime of subsidy. And here's the kicker. Every single one of them is vulnerable. At any moment, they can be bought, renovated, and priced into a totally different market. And look, this isn't just some abstract number on a report. This is a direct quote from a public meeting in the area. Your neighbors, your community members, they're seeing this happen with their own eyes. They're worried about developers targeting these exact spots, especially near new bus or train lines, and it's literally changing the character of their neighborhoods. Now, if we zoom out to the whole county, the trend becomes crystal clear. Just look at this. Between 2010 and 2017, the number of rental apartments under $1,000 a month shrank by almost 22%. At the same time, the number of units renting for over $1,000 exploded. It went up by more than 140%. The affordable end of the market is just evaporating. And here's the human cost. In Garner, right now, there are nearly 2,600 households making less than $50,000 a year who are what's called cost-burdened. That's the official term, but what it really means is they're forced to spend more than a third of their income just to keep a roof over their head. When that much of your paycheck goes to rent, there's hardly anything left for groceries, gas, healthcare, let alone saving for an emergency. So this all leads to a really logical question, right? If we're losing all these older, affordable apartments, why don't we just build our way out of the problem? Well, as it turns out, it's not nearly that simple. I mean, it seems like the obvious answer, doesn't it? Just build more supply. But, when the town of Garner actually asked developers about this, their answers were pretty eye-opening. Okay, this is the first jaw-dropper. Developers told the town that a staggering 40%, 40, of the total cost of building a new apartment complex comes from what they call entitlement costs. That's not labor, it's not materials, it's the cost of getting approvals, going through rezoning, and navigating all the red tape. And it's not just apartments. They said that for a new single-family home, almost a quarter of the final price tag comes from those regulatory costs alone. So the takeaway is pretty clear. Building anything new is incredibly expensive and slow before a single shovel even hits the ground. So if building new isn't the quick fix we hoped it would be, what's the alternative? Well, this is where the whole strategy shifts away from construction and toward a totally different approach: preservation. It's all about protecting what we already have. And when you put the two options side by side, it's pretty compelling. On one hand, you've got new construction, which we know is expensive, slow, and tied up in red tape. On the other hand, you have preservation. It's cheaper, it's faster, and, this is huge, it prevents people from being displaced. It keeps them in the homes and communities they already know and love. And the good news is, Garner's own Affordable Housing Task Force has already mapped out a plan. First, help fund the gap so that nonprofits or responsible developers can buy these NOAH properties and promise to keep them affordable. Second, you gotta start the conversation. Get everyone on the same page and build support. And third, set a real, concrete goal for how many units the town is going to save each year. It's a smart, proactive strategy. So, this brings us right back to the central question. Every single time an investor buys an older complex, renovates it, and raises the rent, an affordable home just vanishes. The challenge for towns like Garner isn't just about building. It's about a race against time to protect the affordable homes that are already here before they're gone for good.